It's time for another visit from Dr. Ryan McCorkle right here on Locked On Spurs. We're going to go over the injuries to Dylan Harper, Luke Kornet, and how can you eat well during the Spurs season?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're doing the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for KENS 5 San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. Hey, here's the news. The Locked On Sports Podcast Network is #1 in the nation. Way to go, everybody. We appreciate y'all subscribing to all shows, especially Locked On Spurs. Keep it up. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts, such as iTunes, Spotify, KENS 5 Plus app. You know what to do. Subscribe right now. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if their bet wins, you can get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. So what are we talking about today? If you're on YouTube, you can see what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be inviting back our good friend of the show, Dr. Ryan McCorkle. He's going to give us his thoughts, his medical opinions about the injury to Dylan Harper. Luke Kornet, yes, he is back, but he had some interesting things to say after the win in Chicago regarding his injury and why he was out for a while. And then a little PSA for everybody. Look, we all know the Spurs season is in season, right? You're probably getting together with friends, you're going to the games, you're probably eating a lot of junk food or probably just not consuming the right things. Look, we know it's hard to avoid, but Dr. Ryan's going to give you his best advice. Now you can try to eat healthy, steps you can take this season. Excuse me. See, that's what's going to happen. I'm getting choked up by it. By the way, if y'all listened on the Locked On Spurs roundtable with Casey Vieira and former Spur Devin Brown, we actually had Dr. Ryan chime in during our discussion about Dylan Harper and his injury. So, but we're going to get deeper into that right here on Locked On Spurs. It's going to bring in our guest. Welcome back to the show, Dr. Ryan McCorkle. How's it going?
Going well, Jeff. Good to see you.
Yeah, really good to see you too. Yeah, by the way, everybody, he is with the Emergency and Backstage Physician Practice in Austin, Texas, medical director for Texas football and Austin FC. And he loves that ACL Live. I know he loves ACL Live. That's, I see your pictures of your concerts you watch over there. It's like a who's who. You should have a wall dedicated to everybody that you had taken a picture with and just put it in your office.
I got one for Pearl Jam and one for Jason Isbell because those are my two favorites. But that's the big walls in my house.
Absolutely. Make sure to follow him on Instagram at AustinEMDoc. Do that right now. So seriously, a great follow, not just medical stuff, but just stuff. He's kind of like a tour of the world, basically. Whenever he goes traveling, concerts, he looks over. It's a great Instagram page. Again, go follow him at AustinEMDoc. All right, Doctor, let's go and dive into it here. I think everybody knows of the injury to Dylan Harper, the rookie, left calf strain, that is, and he is out for several weeks. Now, the Spurs did say they'll give updates as appropriate. There has not been one officially, but a little ray of hope. Mitch Johnson recently said that Harper is looking okay, looking better. Maybe he'll come back sooner than later. Doctor, tell us, what is a calf strain? Why did the Spurs take this approach as far as sitting him out fast? And why the boot? A lot of Spurs fans were freaked out when he came back to the game after getting hurt and was in a boot. Talk to us about that.
Well, calf strains, you can feel that large muscle down in your calf. That's the gastrocnemius on the inner side. There's also another one called the soleus in the back. And the strain can be either one of those muscles, and they're graded 1, 2, and 3 based on severity. But really, I guess people were concerned about the boot. What it is to put you in that protective boot so you're not pushing off on your toes.
I see.
Because that's what you use the gastroc and the soleus for, is jumping and pushing off on your toes. The reason why there's so much concern surrounding this injury is because Tyrese Halliburton last year, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson,
right,
Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, all tore their Achilles after a calf strain. And so it's pushing a calf strain too soon can lead to that pretty catastrophic injury that can put you out for upwards of a year post-surgery. So that's why they're slow playing it. That's why he's in the boot, so he's not pushing off on it. And that's why they're going to be real cautious about his return time.
Yeah, I believe when you texted me during the Locked On Spurs Roundtable show, you were kind of in, I guess, good spirits in the sense of it was a grade 1. It wasn't, I guess, one of the worst calf strains. A grade 1, what does that involve?
I mean, that's just more a minor strain. No,
Okay.
no real tearing. And then 2 would be minor tear, and 3 is a pretty significant tear. The only reason I said it was grade 1 is because initially they said he was only going to be out, 7 to 10 days.
Right.
Now, obviously, they've extended that, so they haven't announced a grade. They may not. That was just based on their timetable for his return. If it would have been 7 to 10 days, that definitely would just be a grade 1. Now that it's longer, it's unclear what grade it would be without, seeing the MRI.
I'm going to ask you here, how does a strain happen? Is it just kind of hard to believe maybe wear and tear, considering he's just a teenager, doesn't have the mileage as a seasoned NBA vet or pro player, regardless. Are these just things where maybe his calf muscle wasn't strong enough, a freak step that just twisted the wrong way? How do these occur?
Yeah, it can just be a freak turning the wrong way. The same as pulling a hamstring or pulling a quad muscle. Any muscle can get strained just by the wrong action suddenly. Nothing, no commentary on his conditioning or not a wear and tear thing at this point. Just more a freak turn, and it happens, not infrequently to basketball players. Tearing that, it can even be, a lot of folks will tear that calf muscle where it turns black and blue, and that's a much bigger deal and a much bigger mess. But his seems to just be a strain. Yeah,
exactly. I think that really freaked out a lot of Spurs fans when he returned in the boot. That it just looked a lot worse than what it is. And there were reports that, after that game, he was just kind of wobbling and everything. But it looks like a big Frankenstein boot. That's what it looks like, a big RoboCop boot that you just kind of have to plop, to lessen the wear. Or it's the use of the muscle while it's healing.
Yeah, the ortho boot keeps you from pushing off on those toes. They also say that that's the signature shoe of Anthony Davis.
Done. Yeah. See, I'm all going the nerd route. RoboCop. You going with a more realistic one, Anthony Davis. But no, all kidding aside, though, is it a simple ricin treatment, or is this something more involved in that?
It's just a standard ricin treatment with the emphasis on the R for the rest, is making sure that he's not pushing off on that thing regularly until it's completely healed, because you don't want to put him at risk for that Achilles tear, which is devastating.
Right. And for those that are new to Locked On Spurs and have not heard Dr. Ryan talk about the ricin treatment, basically it's an acronym, stands for a rest. I got that right? Rest, ice, compression, elevation, and non-steroidal drugs, right?
You got it. Perfect. Well done, Jeff.
I passed my pop quiz. Yeah, so basically no surgery, just as Doctor mentioned, a lot of rest. When he does come back, Doctor, will he be wearing anything, maybe like a wrap, or is this something he could just like play without the wrap, as we saw?
There's no great data that it's going to help. A lot of times they'll come back wearing one of those compression sleeves you see players wearing on their lower legs and sometimes on their arms. It's more for comfort, and you just feel a little bit more support, so they don't overcompensate, with the other side. But you'll probably see him wear some kind of compression sleeve when he comes back.
Yeah, I figure with this type of injury that Harper had, I can expect the Spurs to be extremely cautious. Even once the medical doctors say thumbs up, he can come back, and wouldn't be surprised if he's on a minutes restriction, maybe initially, because the last thing they need is for that calf muscle to re-injure itself and maybe be a grade larger or something like that. Yeah, definitely. I guess there's shining light, silver cloud around this. That again, doctor highlighted, not surgery, a lot of rest. The boot just looks worse than what it is. Just simply stabilizes foot and calf muscle and relieve the use of it. So good news, Spurs fans. Hopefully Dylan Harper will be back soon. But what about Luke Kornet? He came back recently, but yeah, he was kind of delayed. Everybody was kind of confused. There are people, doctor, were talking like this, like, okay, well, what happened? What did you do? Nobody knew what happened. Now, I sent you a tweet that I sent out. It was a quote from Luke Kornet. I'm going to pull it up here. I'm going to read it to everybody in just a few seconds here. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get into the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into the same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps everything exciting, especially when your team is making that late push. Hey, Spurs season is underway. Might as well jump on the action over at FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first 5 bet wins. So, head to FanDuel.com. Sign up right now. Play your game at FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Nobody likes paying rent, but if you must, you might as well get something for it. That's where Built comes in. Built is changing the game by turning your rent payment into real rewards that you can use when you pay rent through Built. You earn flexible points that can be redeemed towards hundreds of hotels and airlines, future rent payment, your next Lyft ride, and more. But Built isn't just about rent. It's about rewarding you around the entire neighborhood. You'll love that with Built, your rent can finally work for you. You're earning points every month on something you already have. Whether you're grabbing food at your favorite restaurant or heading to the gym, you'll earn rewards ASAP. Built has made every life feel more rewarding, from your neighborhood to your travel plans. And when you turn to rent, you want to look to Built. Turn your rent into rewards and start earning points around your neighborhood by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNBA. That's JOINBILT.com/LockedOnNBA. Make sure you use that link so they know that we sent you. But he did come back. He did look good versus the Bulls. Looked like he was not, lacking, some speed or anything. But he says, quote, "It was in the New Orleans game where I rolled my ankle on the first half, which was honestly not too bad." So there's one, rolled the ankle. Because that was pretty fine a couple of days. But it got in kind of into my shoulder, and it pulled on that stuff. So now he has a shoulder and the ankle. And that kind of was a little strained there. So he said his shoulder got strained. The shoulder was a little bit more of a lingering thing. It just took time to sort of get back and strengthen it for it to calm down. So it was interesting. Oh, I got your back there, doctor. Okay. It was interesting, doctor, that, nobody saw like anything immediate on the court when he did get hurt. It looked like just another day. And then the next day, everybody was kind of surprised that, oh, he's out. Before we get into the specifics of that, are these type of injuries that Luke Kornet experienced those things where you don't know until you realize, like, you can play and he's doing well, and then when the game's over, he's like, oh, wait a minute, I'm hurt. How does that happen?
That happens pretty frequently. You have all the endorphins and the adrenaline going of competition during the game. And kind of when those things wear off is where you start to notice, hey, this is a little bit more sore than I thought it would be, especially the next day. And, when you're not up for a game, then they'll notice that this ankle hurts, the shoulder hurts. And that's very common once you come down off those, that adrenaline and endorphin high.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what happened with Luke Kornet, because I went back and looked at that New Orleans game and he looked fine. There wasn't limping. He wasn't, wincing, nothing. And then they said the next day, or next game, it was announced he was out. It just barely came back versus the Bulls, and he looked great. But let's start off with the rolling of the ankle. That was the first injury that he suffered. We see these very common. It all gives us that cringe factor when we see it on the court. But again, if you go back to that Pelicans game, you never really saw that complete roll of the ankle. I guess it doesn't take much, even if it's a slight roll, for it to impact a player. Can you talk about how delicate those ankles are?
Yeah, I think every basketball player knows that pain and just makes you nauseous when you see it happen.
Oh, yeah, it does.
We all remember that. But yeah, the most common is the inversion, where your ankles roll to the outside. And when you don't actually see that big, oh, he landed on somebody's foot, watch it roll, go down in a heap and in tons of pain. It can just be that slight little roll where it happens and you go back and you keep playing. And it's not till afterwards that you realize, man, this ankle is really sore the next day, because it was just that minor little turns a little bit, but doesn't roll all the way over.
Yeah. Yeah. And then for that type of injury to happen, I guess the Spurs felt extremely cautious because, like I mentioned, he barely came back the other night versus Chicago. Put phenomenal numbers up. You know, looked like nowhere. He was just right back on track. But nevertheless, you could definitely tell the Spurs were making sure he was healthy because it was getting to Spurs fans. Spurs fans saying, like, what is going on? What injury? Nobody saw anything happen. But as Luke mentioned, yeah, he did roll his ankle in the Norris game. But interestingly enough, though, he said that he tried to continue. And then, I went back and listened to the interview. He said somebody pulled on him and they pulled on his shoulder. He goes, that was the one injury that kind of kept him out a little longer. He said it was more of a lingering thing. When I think shoulder, and I'm really going to show my age here, I remember Antoine Carr for the Spurs playing the Alamo Dome, and he was going to go up for a power dunk, and an opponent swiped the ball, and he just was so gripped onto that ball that it pulled his arm, his shoulder right here out of socket. And then he used a video of it. He's just clutching his arms. You would think, doctor, that the shoulders could take a lot of punishment considering the size of the bone or the muscle surrounding it. But Luke Kornet said that hurt them a lot. He talked about shoulder injuries.
Yeah, that happens a lot in basketball, just where somebody's either holding on to your arm or whatever, and you're trying to move the arm, and then that can create a strain of any of the rotator cuff muscles there. And yeah, an anterior dislocation doesn't take as much force as you might think. And that's kind of real common is getting pulled from behind, having it pop out that way. Posterior dislocations are much bigger deal, require high speed car accidents, but anteriors, just like Antoine Carr, just going up like that and having it pop forward, something we do very commonly in the ER to put it back in.
Yeah, and again, just to be clear, Luke Kornet did not suffer a shoulder dislocation. He said that he suffered, somebody pulled on his shoulder. He goes, and that was a strain there. Is this very similar to the calf strain that Harper's going through and that Kornet went through? Just again, it wasn't for what we know, we don't know the grade, but it seems like they rested him a lot though. So I'm going to assume that it was a grade 1 with an emphasis on the rest. It looks like that's what happened, doctor. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the sprains and the strains, they grade them kind of based on whether there's tearing of the muscle fibers. It's more kind of what did it look like when they did the MRI? What is the pain like? It's hard to grade them externally when you don't have access to that information. Right. But I think also this is in the context of coming down a little bit on load management, and that so if you have a minor injury, you can set for that. And with a veteran player like Kornet, who really doesn't need the minutes, it may be a good excuse to sit for a couple of games with an actual, real injury and not for quote unquote load management.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm on the screen there, everybody. Yeah, that he's an important piece to the Spurs team because we saw exactly what happened while he was out and Victor took a break and how teams just attacked that middle and just either cut deficits in half or whatnot. But yeah, so he's very important because of the numbers, doctor, the defensive numbers, ratings, and the offensive ratings really don't shift too much when Kornet is out there by himself, giving Wemby a break. So he's very, very important to the team. But overall, look, it's good that he's back. Harper's back. Well, Harper will be back soon. And the team is slowly getting back healthy, little by little. Olynyk is back. He was out for a while. So we're just missing one more player, and that is Dylan Harper. We're joined by Dr. Ryan McCorkle right here on Locked On Spurs. Make sure to follow him on Instagram at AustinEMDoc. Again, he's based out in Austin. He is with the Backstage physician and emergency in Austin, Texas, the medical director for Texas football and Austin FC. Doctor, one more thing before we let you go here, and that is it is Spurs season, which means a lot of partying, a lot of get-togethers, a lot of going to the games and eating hamburgers and hot dogs and popcorn and sodas or diet sodas, because that makes you feel a little better because you drink a diet soda, doctor. I guess the Spurs fans one time asking me like, man, I eat so much, or, what can I do? Or my goodness, I leave a game and I'm just so stuffed. I feel gross the next day. I know it's difficult to get away from the watch parties and whatnot. I mean, the Spurs put on watch parties and they have free food for everybody. But for those Spurs fans that are health conscious, doctor, we're in season. What would be your advice to help those Spurs fans try to eat better aside from just abstaining. What would your advice be to try to stay in relatively good eating habits during the Spurs season? If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overage, no hidden fees, no BS. I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text, delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. You'll love that you're getting the same quality service you had before, but for a fraction of the price. Setup is super easy. Keep your number, and then they'll be running it in minutes. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Upfront payment of $45 is required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for the first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 GB on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
As the new leader of the Decepticons, I command you to subscribe to Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
So much of nutrition, is just kind of common sense. I end up giving kind of similar information all the time, but it's really about trying to make healthy choices on what you're eating. Of course, that's fruits, vegetables, as much plant-based eating as you can do, regulating your red meat intake. And when we're talking about going to parties and stuff, you don't want to have to live this way, all the time. You regulate your diet on a daily basis so that you can do things like go out for a celebration and not have to worry as much. But I think the big thing when you do make that exception and go out for that celebration is portion control. You can get the sensation, in your mouth from 3 or 4 bites, and you've expressed your gratitude for whoever made that dish for you, and you've tasted it and enjoyed it, and you don't have to just consume large amounts. So healthy choices, portion control, those are the big things, and those are the things that all of us have so much trouble doing, even though they're so simple.
Yeah, you go to a Spurs game, Doctor, and even ahead of the season, the team announced so many other food options, and I noticed it. And they think the closest, you probably were going to push back on this, I think the closest to a healthy option was, I can't pronounce it, True Fruit. It's like a fruit-based food or a dessert or something like that. But even at that, it was your Pluckers. It was a new express grab and go stations. Of course, the True Fruit. So, it is difficult, for Spurs fans to, at least those that are like food mindful and thinking about what their intake is to get away with it. You got Fiesta, towards the end of the season. That doesn't help whatsoever at all. And it looks like the Spurs could be making a post regular season March, hopefully, crossing fingers. And when that happens, and there's more, but you're right. Portion control, being mindful, trying your best to eat healthy during the in-season. Or how about I think of this one, Doctor. When you're not at a watch party or at a game and you're just watching from your couch, that's probably one of the better ways to just, try to eat healthy there. But look, Doctor, I said on Media Row, and it's even hard for me to stay away from that because they gave us meal vouchers, and they're good for almost anywhere in the arena. So I'm passing by Chicken Fingers, Doctor, and I'm caving in quick, Doc. Help me here, Doctor.
A lot of the places will have sometimes have a plant-based option, like the burger places will have a plant-based burger that's great. I think the problem is a lot of times, prices are high when you go buy things in the stadium. And so you want larger portions for your dollar. And then you eat more because you want more for your buck. And the big thing they would tell us back in residency was always be careful with free food. When you get free food, we tend to just grab as much as we can and then take in more than we need to because, the opportunity is there. So thinking about that thing, keeping that in the back of your head is always good for your overall health.
So you get here some Spurs medical angles, views from Dr. Ryan McCorkle, and get a little PSA on how to try to eat healthy during the Spurs season. Hey, Dr. Before we let you go, your thoughts on the Spurs season to start 8-2 currently on a 3-game winning streak. See, this is coming out on Wednesday. So I got the Warriors tonight. Not a bad start, huh?
I think we all had hoped that this would be coming
Yep.
in the years to come. I don't think anybody expected it this early.
Yeah.
Our expectations are tempered a little bit, really excited to start out this hot, but make sure that we keep our injuries low and everybody gets to play their 60 games and that we could turn this into a 50 win season, and a 3 seed would be like the very top. I don't think we thought that it would be this year, but now that it's here, how exciting.
Yeah, I thought for sure maybe this leap that we're seeing right now wouldn't happen until the following season. So what, 26, 27 season. But hey, I'll take it. Look, I like that Victor was honest after the win versus Chicago. He pretty much said, he goes, I know we haven't really played the Titans of the NBA yet. So he's aware of that, but at least they're winning games they should win, beating teams on paper they should beat, gutting out wins as we saw versus Chicago, beating a team that many thought they were going to get curb stomped by, and that's being Houston. I don't know if you saw the comment, Ime Udoka after the Houston game, they lost to the Spurs. He says, oh, that team over there, they punked us. When was the last time we heard the Spurs be referred to as the ones doing the punking, not getting punked on, Doctor? It's a good time in San Antonio, isn't it?
It is a good time to be a Spurs fan with this hot start to the season, and now getting De'Aaron Fox back, and then hopefully getting Dylan back. It's a really good feeling to have this early in the season.
And hopefully they're riding a nice win streak or on a high when they go to Austin and go to your neck of the woods for those.
I'll be there.
Games.
Excited for those 2 games at the Moody Center.
Any latest on the sneaker front? For those who don't know, Dr. Ryan McCorkle is a big sneakerhead, and we always ask him that. Any new additions?
No, I've kind of slowed it down. It's one in, one out. I got what I need, and I think the Kobe eyeballs were the last ones I got, but that's been probably a year or so. So keeping the collection tight unless there's something I absolutely have to have, and then I'll have to be willing to let something go. Yeah.
Did you hear the news that Keldon Johnson, he's affiliated with a Chinese-based sneaker company, Keldon Sports, I think that's how to pronounce it. He was named the chief creative officer of that company now.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
To participate in some sneaker designs.
Exactly. Yeah. I can't wait to see the Keldon Johnson design whenever that gets released or revealed, hopefully soon. He is Dr. Ryan McCorkle. Again, follow him on Instagram. That's right. At Austin EM Doc. Again, he is with the Backstage medical practice out there in Austin. He is the medical director for Texas football, Austin FC. And he does, according to his Instagram page, IV hydration. I did one of those recently, Doctor. I felt great afterwards. I felt really good.
Yeah, a lot of our Backstage musicians who have us out want IV fluids before or after a show because they really feel a lot better after that.
Yeah. Although I like the feeling, but I'm not it's hard to find veins on me. Let's put it that way. So
emergency room folks are used to that challenge. That's why the nurses that I use are really excellent at finding veins on people that normally have difficulty with that.
And I get a kick out of this, so I think the last time I did the IV, I told them, I said, look, it's going to be hard. I'm not trying to challenge you or anything. Like, I'm being honest with you. It's going to be hard to find a vein on me. So the nurse goes, oh, don't worry about it. I'm a pro. I can get on the first shot. You're good. Can't find it. Right. He goes in another location, another arm. Couldn't get it. He sees him. He can't get it. So then he starts migrating up. He did one, I'm not kidding, in my thumb area, thumb. He says, I'm going to try for the thumb. Didn't hit it. So at this point, I'm a pin cushion, and I tell him, I think I'm good. I'll probably get my money back. It's all right. There's only so much I can take. What is it with nurses that they get competitive? They got competitive. He's like, I'm not going to let that happen because that's an L for me. He goes, can I have a 4th down? So I gave him a 4th down, and guess where he went to? The palm.
Got it on the back of the hand, huh?
Yeah, he got him in the back of the hand, and guess what? A lot easier. And he even gave me some advice. He goes, moving forward, he goes, just when you do this again, just let the person know, go to your hand. Just start off the bat, go to your hand. Is it true though, doctor? He also said that that nurses, or this IV technician, he said he wishes that patients would tell them first where it's best to find it versus how difficult it is to find it.
Sure, that's a little more useful information. Is hey, they usually get it here rather than I'm a hard stick. That is non-specific, and lots of people say that. But if you point to a place where they usually get it, it's a good place to start.
Yeah. See, whenever I get an IV from Dr. Ryan, hopefully in the future, I'm going to be like, all right, doctor, right here, just right here. Save a time. Let's go right in the hand and we're good, and let that good fluids come in. Doctor, thank you again for joining us here at Locked On Spurs, giving us your opinion, your thoughts on the medical issues surrounding the San Antonio Spurs. In this case, Luke Kornet and Dylan Harper. Either way, seems like it's good news on the injury front for those two players. Doctor, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Locked On Spurs. And everybody else, thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Friend available wherever you get podcasts. You know what to do. Subscribe. iTunes, Spotify, Kens5 Plus app, YouTube. We are now Locked On Sports Network. Just a podcast network is now the #1 spot in the nation. So thank y'all for supporting us. We really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow as the season continues, talking all things silver and black. So for Dr. Ryan McCorkle, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Sports.